I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome, troop number 24. Happy to have you. Do you care to identify yourselves for the viewing community? Why don't we start with you, sir? Stand up, turn around, big, loud, talk.
I am Ben Siegel. I am Joe Collins.
I am Thomas Delgado.
I'm Rick Ferrero.
I'm Adam Williams.
Awesome, Mark.
Nikki Gorb. I'm Matt Harris. I'm Ariel Lear.
John Klaus.
I'm Howard Dicey.
I'm Owen Young. I'm Alex Taylor.
Jonathan Winthrop.
Joey Greger.
Nathan Moore.
And are your scoutmasters here?
Oops, we
Yes.
just came in.
There he is. Brendan?
I'm Brian Stein.
Hi. Welcome, gentlemen. All right. Thank you for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Any visitors or public comment here tonight? Mr. Lair, would you take the microphone, please?
Yeah, William Lair, 329 Bunker Hollow Road. I want to just talk for five minutes, hopefully not that long. And I wasn't going to do this tonight. I was going to wait and try to get on the agenda for the next meeting, but your next meeting isn't until June. And it has to do with the creek that's behind our house. I guess everything has come to a head this past weekend. Last week, as we all know, we had tremendous rains on Wednesday. And that was the worst at the back that I've ever seen. We're living with it. We have no complaints. It's there. We're living with it. The creek has changed. It's changed directions. It's ruined plantings. And I'm okay with that. The reason I'm upset now is that one of our neighbors, Mr. Wright, had called the township on Friday asking what can the township do about the Lairs Bridge that's blocking up the stream. The township told Mr. Wright to call Mario. Called Mario, and he's not here tonight, unfortunately, and this is hearsay because I'm only getting it from the neighbor. Mario told him that everything back there is owned by Mr. Lair and it's his responsibility. Well, number one, that's not true. The municipal authority owns that building back there. Part of that property belongs to them. The big tree that they had behind the pumping station, that died because of all the flooding. That was cut down. But all the debris that's back there is a result, and I've had discussions with Dick, and Dick knows about it, and it's not his fault. But over the years, and I have letters here from even Mario's predecessor going all the way back to 1995 from a John, I guess it's Maxonis. Also from Mario, I even have, and I paid this on my own, I even had a gentleman by the name of Tom Cordray from Del Val Soil and Environmental Consultants. And everybody has told me that the reason for the problem of that backing up is because and Gretchen Snotschneider from the Conservation District calls Nicholas Drive a bridge. And where the water goes under the bridge, it's all backed up. The silt and all that's right before that's got to be at least 3 feet high. So the water can't go down there and flow through there naturally anymore. It backs up, and then you know what happens when it keeps backs up on the Loins property next to us, backs up to ours, goes underneath our bridge, backs the bridge up, and keeps going all the way up. And now to exacerbate the problem, then we have another neighbor now who's taken their storm water that's coming from their rain gutters and their sump pump, and they put a line in, they funnel that into the creek. We got problems back there, and it's not, I want everyone to know, and that's why I'm here tonight going on record, it's not I don't own the creek. And I don't like somebody telling neighbors that it's the Lair's problem. It's not my problem. The problem starts at Nicholas Drive. And that's got to be cleaned out, or that creek will never run right. And I'm not taking the bridge down. This guy from, his name is Christian Voigt from the Department of Environmental Protection. He came over on Friday, and he said, you have to take your bridge down. And I looked at him like, I politely told him to get off the property. I'm not taking the bridge down. But I'm asking you for help. It's not my problem. Part of it is the township's problem, because I don't own the creek going under Nicholas Drive, and that's all backed up there. You should have seen it on Wednesday. The water couldn't get through there.
Well, sitting here right now, I don't think any one of us can speak to how we could help you, but we do have our Director of Operations here. I know you know Dick. You've met with him many times. He's been to your property many times. He's looked at that creek, I don't know, 100 times. So we'll take a look at this. You're right, we don't know who said what, and, when we want to just get to the facts and solve the problem, at this point, let's just get to the facts to solve the problem.
Okay.
And I know that Dick will be willing to...
I mean, there's a history. There's a history of it. I have all the photos here. I got it from all the engineers. I got it from Sam Costanzo. I got it from his brother. This isn't something that's just happening.
This is something I've heard many times sitting here, so...
But the problem just exacerbated itself on last Wednesday when it was unbelievable back there. I even showed Scott Mealy, from the municipal authority, so he saw it, because it comes and it goes around the pump house. I'm sure Dick's going to meet with you, and maybe if Mario's necessary, and other members of the municipal authority, take a look at this situation. Again.
We have looked at it.
Recently?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this week, yesterday. I was down.
Mr. John was down there yesterday, and he looked at it. He knows the problem. I mean, it's not... But the reason I'm here, because, and unfortunately Mario's not here, I don't appreciate somebody saying that it's our fault. It's not our fault.
Okay.
And Mario should know that. Okay. We don't own that property back there. First of all, the creek is owned by DEP. It's not owned by us. We can't control it. We can't do anything. We were told by Gretchen we couldn't do anything on the creek.
All right, noted.
All right.
I'm sure you're going to have
I
some...
will follow up.
Look into it.
What about investigate with the Conservation District removal of the silt under the road there to make it flow better?
Absolutely.
That should be something that shouldn't be hard to do.
Right. We've spoken with Gretchen. Dick and I spoke with Gretchen. We also, I talked to Chris Voigt from the DEP this afternoon, wanting to follow up as well. He gave me different information than he gave Mr. Lair, so we want to clarify, and we'll certainly coordinate with Gretchen.
Because we said to him...
We didn't know that he had come out.
We asked him point blank, Pam and I were there, and we said, how do we solve what you think is our problem with the bridge? He said, well, you're going to have to remove the bridge.
And he told me you didn't have to remove the bridge. So.
And I said, well, he may have said that after I said to him, well, we're not going to remove the bridge.
All right.
So.
But we'll meet.
The problem will get solved.
Okay.
Okay? We'll work. We'll all help to do that.
Okay, but just so everyone's aware, and I know Dick is, and this isn't a full thing, the problem starts at the water going underneath Nicholas Drive. There's 2 outlets, and I'm not exaggerating. It's got to be at least 3 feet high. The water can't get under there, especially when you have these 100-year storms that happens every year. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Other comment? No? Okay. All right, announcements. Our next meeting is going to be June 3rd, 2014. The administrative offices are going to be closed on May 20th for Election Day and May 26th for Memorial Day. Home Run Derby, May 15th at 5 p.m. to dusk at Turk Baseball Field. There's pre-registration, so please sign up ahead of time, and you can do that by visiting our website, doylestownpa.org, or contacting our offices at 348-9915. The annual Township Golf Outing, very important day for all of us here in Doylestown Township, is June 2nd at the Doylestown Country Club. I believe it is a 9 o'clock shotgun start, and all the proceeds from the golf outing go to the park system. So it's a fundraiser, and it is also a fun time.
And it's our 20th anniversary.
And it's our 20th anniversary, I'm reminded. Next item on the agenda, approval of the minutes from the Board of Supervisors meeting of April 1st, 2014. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any corrections? Changes? All right. Hearing no comments, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Next item is the approval of the minutes from the road inspection on April 24th, 2014. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, I think there's a
I
question.
understand there's comments. Yeah, I just wanted to get a motion and second.
Yes, second.
Sir, please identify yourself for the record.
Good evening, Lee Schwartz. Road inspection gatherings. I wasn't aware that they were actually board meetings, and it appears that several items took place at that particular meeting. That wasn't advertised as a
Yes,
Board
it
of
was.
Supervisors meeting, was it?
Yes, it was. It was advertised.
Okay,
And that other business would take
was also advertised.
interesting. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. If there's a motion and a second, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
One abstention.
Okay. That was 4 and 1 abstention. Okay, I just lost track of my minutes here. Next item, the Edison Furlong Road truck usage and concerns from residents over there. We have a letter from Senator McElhenney to the manager of Buckingham Township dated April 9th, 2014.
Yes, I've spoken with the manager in Buckingham Township. They're in receipt of the letter, and they are working on a response, which they indicated that they would share with us to the senator. And I would just want to give this to you for your information at this time, in case anyone had any comments or concerns they wanted to pass along. But they are working on a response.
Well, they're going to want a
regarding them.
response from us, too.
Actually, I think it's just to them. We're just copied on it for informational purposes at this point, as the
Not really
resident
asking
is from Buckingham.
I understand, Mr. Hazard. Okay. But our police department has been contacted.
Yeah. The chief advised me of this, and he said his concern was with safety-wise, that what type of liability would the township have if we restrict that. And really, the Jacob brakes really don't have anything to do with the braking system. It's more of an engine braking.
Yeah.
So, and there's other townships that have an ordinance that would restrict the usage of the air brakes at that time. So.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to stay on top of that from the police department standpoint. Okay. Thank you. Business Route 202 requests a letter in support with Chalfont and New Britain Business Alliance. They want to call their business district the Business Route 202?
Yes. At this point, it's East Butler Avenue with the new 202 Parkway that's opened. A lot of people are confused with what we knew as 202, and so the Chalfont New Britain Association believes that having it designated as Business Route 202 might be a little helpful, along with the East Butler Avenue or the State Street. At the Planning Commission, Mr. Showalter was at the meeting we had with New Britain recently, and Lynn Bush was there, and she said if the various municipalities, send a letter indicating that they're okay with that, then they would work with PennDOT Bucks County Planning Commission would work to do that. And as you can see, New Britain Township has already supported that.
So let me get this straight. If we're on 202 and we're driving through New Britain and Chalfont, the road is going to be called Business Route 202, is that what they're saying?
It would be referred to as Business Route East Butler Avenue or Business Route 202.
One or the other?
Yeah, most likely Business Route 202 is, as the signs would read. Whereas it used to be State Street and 202, but it was always 202 State, and now the 202 is considered the Parkway.
And where would this designation start?
Most likely start around New Britain Road as it heads, because that's East Butler Avenue, starting at New Britain Road and heading, yes,
It's part of
New
the
Britain Road. We're on that.
On that
We
side.
have a little...
We have a little corner,
Little piece.
a little piece,
Okay.
but then it goes the other way.
All right, what's
So-
the thought of the board? Is that something that we want to take a position on? Is something we support?
I don't know if we have to take a position. I can understand the designation being necessary because of the confusion, but...
We have no objection to it.
No.
I have no objection. I think we should support it. I mean, we should make a name, call it, get it done.
Okay?
I'm in agreement. I support it.
All right. We'll support it if we do have to do a letter or something to that
I
effect.
think they're probably looking for a letter, yeah.
Okay. The consensus of the board is that we will support a local business designation for that area of 202. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, report from the solicitor.
I have nothing to report we may not discuss later in the agenda.
Chief? I mean, the lieutenant? I just elevated you.
Nothing to report.
It's the last time a chief will miss the meeting.
Engineer is not here. Manager.
Just real quick update, DART's moving along pretty well. As everyone knows, they received a $250,000 grant, which had the match, which we're putting in $5,000, as is the borough and the Doylestown Business Alliance, as is now the county is going to be contributing to that match as well, along with the advertising that they're receiving.
What are they contributing?
They're contributing $18,000.
The county is $18,000?
So the DART was able to do that. They're working with the YMCA on a program with Tammany Middle School, and they are reaching out to the various senior centers like Center Square Towers, Wesley Enhanced Living, and Grundy Hall to encourage more ridership and also to seek out information on the availability and need for Saturday service. They're also working with Delaware Valley College as well.
Now, there's a meeting at Grundy Hall. The DART people are meeting at Grundy just to introduce the DART bus and pump it up. And we've been invited to participate in that, and it is...
May 16th at noon.
May 16th at noon, Grundy Hall. I know Mr. Coelho is going to be there.
And then I just have one other thing, which is the acknowledgement of Don Kinder's retirement. Unfortunately, I don't think he was able to join us this evening, but we do have a nice plaque and township gift for his years of service with the township.
How many years has he been?
25, I believe.
Okay. Do we have to move on this?
No, it's
Thanks for notice.
acceptance, yeah.
Okay, anything else, Cynthia?
No, I haven't.
Supervisors, start at the left side. Mr. Toohill?
Thank you. Good evening. While we had, I didn't have the opportunity to go to our bike and hike and work and rec meetings, we had some conflicting scheduling because we've had PSATs this year, which is a conference we go out to each spring out in Hershey. I won't bore the crowd. I know we have a lot of it on the agenda with everything, different conferences and that pertain to our township that we attended, but I'd be happy to discuss things afterwards if anybody's interested in the cell phone towers, stormwater, grants, green building, or maybe even alternative fueled vehicles. Again, probably a lot more than we have time for tonight. In addition, we did have a road inspection, which I think others are going to comment on, the road and bridge, and a pension meeting. Other than that, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Snyder?
Yeah, a few items here. Just following up with what Sean had said about the road inspections. This year, there was budgeted $500,000 for bridge work, roads, guardrails, and drainage. Of that $500,000, $320,000 was for roads. With the second road inspection we had, due to the incredible winter, we knew we needed to do more for that, so we have identified another $200,000 we're going to put into doing road repair. And what we'll do is also post those roads that are going to get fixed on the website, so you'll be able to see that. So that's a significant increase in what we're doing with getting the roads up and fixed this year. The other part of that that's important was the bridge work. If those of you that may remember, there was a study done on the 34 bridges within the township, and there was 4 that were identified as a higher priority to remediate. What this $60,000 does is remediates those 4 bridges that were the top priority for this year. So all of that will get done this year as well. So it was a lot of good work from Dick on identifying, getting this group of us out there again on a second road inspection because of how bad the roads were. For Telecommunications Board, we're having, our next meeting is May 12th, and that one's going to focus specifically just on social media. And the consultant that has been helping us and donating a lot of time to us is Focus MX, and they're going to come and help us try to identify how can we better interact and communicate to the residents. So is that via web page, Facebook, Twitter, websites, all that stuff. So we just want to get better at it, making sure we are communicating to the residents as timely as possible. EAC, we have the Environmental Advisory Council. We have our summit coming up on the 22nd of this month. So we're looking forward to that. And that should be a good time. And also for the Central Bucks Regional Aging Task Force. We have a new chairperson there, Kevin Jamison, and our next meeting in June is going to be focused solely on how do we energize this group, what are the things we need to focus on, and kind of turn it around and making sure we're providing the right types of activities to the residents. So that's coming up in June as well.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Yes. Since the last meeting, we had a meeting of the Planning Commission, and 2 properties up for development were discussed. One of them is the Pavilion, which you may know is the Grasso property. And the plans now submitted call for a CVS at 10,000 square feet. So they've acquiesced. They've finally come down to conform to our zoning requirements. They still got some issues, but that was one of the major ones. So they've revised their plans to show compliance to our zoning.
Do you mind giving just a 30-second history on, or what that means, just so the scouts can understand how, some of the work we have to do here to protect our community?
In Pennsylvania, you own property, and if you're the owner of the property, you can build anything you want on there as long as it complies with the zoning, what the area says. You cannot build a McDonald's on your property. You can build many things, but McDonald's would not be zoned and appropriate. You can maybe add on a garage or some extension or in-law suites. Or you can have property that's undeveloped, there's nothing on there, and you're interested in building a house or 4 houses. You get engineers to draw up the plans. It's detailed, it's very, very detailed, that meet the zoning ordinances, and then you come to the Planning Commission and say, here's what we would like to do. The Planning Commission and the engineers, township engineers, review it and say, okay, you can do all this except your impervious surface, the concrete, the macadam. Water can't go through it, so it's impervious. You're only allowed a certain amount. So then you may have to go back and make a smaller footprint on your house, a smaller house. Planning Commission reviews that. After several months, everybody's generally in compliance, and then it comes before this board here, where the lawyer for the developer, et cetera, and the engineers will come and present and say, we've met all the requirements, we've been in front of the Planning Commission, your Planning Commission agrees with it, we would like your consent to, build 4 homes, or whatever the amount was. And that's how you get homes in different entities on properties around the township.
And in this particular case, this one developer wanted to put a really large CVS or grocery store or something on a piece of property that was only allowed to be, you could only put 10,000 square feet on it. He wanted to put something bigger on there, like 13,000, and we said no. And so he fought it, and he went to court, and he lost, and then now he's back after 7 years saying, okay, we'll build 10,000 square feet. So we stuck to what we had to do. We didn't let him do anything he wasn't supposed to do, and that was, Mr. Colella says, we protected what we need to do for the community. So that's why I wanted him to give you a little background why it's important that now this developer is going to comply with what we have already laid down as what's proper for our township. Because anything too big is going to create more water problems. Anything too big is going to create less absorption create more absorption of chemicals. So it's important that, or create more traffic, or more noise, and more debris. So it's important that we regulate this stuff and these buildings. So that's why we were glad to see that this new plan came in, meeting what we put down as the rules for building. Sorry. So did you have anything else you wanted to?
Yes.
Of course he does. Come on. Sorry for the... I'm just kidding.
And a lot of the things that could go on behind the scenes that you don't see, and one of them is the financial viability of your township. We worked very hard, and I'm not saying we as me, and previous administrations to have a strong financial foundation, and it was very good to see in the paper, front page in the Intelligencer, not page 18 under the, front page about how strong financially Doylestown Township is, how much there are above 75% of the other municipalities in the state, and other kudos. So it was very reassuring to see that, because a lot of times the residents don't see all that. They only see when things maybe aren't going perfect. So that was really, I hope everyone got a chance to read that. It was a great article. In order to get a good seat for Touch-A-Truck, which was last Saturday, the bird walk, and merit badges for bird, it's a perfect opportunity. For 2 hours on a Saturday, 8 to 10, next one is in the fall, but I got a good parking spot, and I took my granddaughter, who's 8, and she went on the bird walk with us. We had a great time. It's amazing how you walk past things, and I apologize for the ones that are older than me, but you walk past things year after year after year, and you never notice it until someone says, do you see that up there? Do you see that over there? The other interesting part was we met a resident who was walking a huge dog. It was 170 pounds. It was huge. Yeah. It was bigger than me and heavier than me. I mean, it was just huge.
A small horse.
And he had a leash on the dog. And our ornithologist said, thank you for having the dog on a leash. And he said, oh, he's a very good dog, et cetera, et cetera. And we stayed 15, 20 feet away just to be safe. And as we all turned to go up the path, this dog lurched. And fortunately, the man holding him was bigger. And he held the dog. After I got down from the tree I jumped into, we all stopped for it. They caught our breath, and he said, he's never done anything like that before. So it just shows you, it showed all of us pretty clear that, it's when you take dogs out in the environment, we really, that's why the ordinance have leash laws, we call them, where you have to have the dog, on a leash, because you put anybody, dogs, animals, people, in different environment, they can react differently than when they do at home when they're getting kibbles and bits. And the last thing was PSATs that was mentioned. We got the Governor's Award, and we're very proud of that. We right before us was Mayor Nutter, who got the award, and was a distinguished crowd. The Lieutenant Governor presented it, and thanks again to Stephanie for doing the legwork and making us look good. But we were the top prize in the state, again, something the residents don't see, but we're proud of, and we know we're doing the job for the betterment of the township. And now I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Good report.
I just have one quick thing. I saw that if you guys saw in your mailbox, last week the summer guide came out for, I think it was last week, for Parks and Rec. There you go. The Parks and Rec summer program guide. And I encourage everybody to really look through that and take a look at that, because there are a ton of great mini camps and different things that go on. I mean, I look specifically for my kids, and I know that my children have participated in the programs, and they're great little programs that run as little as 2 days to up to a week, and fun stuff to get your kids out there and doing in the summer. So I encourage everyone to, really take a look at what the township has to offer, not just for kids, but for adults, and with all different in all different areas of interest. So,
thank you. I was actually going to give kudos to the rec department for this. Is an amazing, very well produced.
It was really nice
program guide, and we won awards for this too. But it used to go home with the elementary school children in Central Bucks, and a few years ago it stopped. That stopped. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm meeting before the school board next Tuesday, and I'm going to ask them again to consider 3 times a year this going home with the kids in elementary school, so that they actually get them, not just kids in Doylestown Township, but the kids in the area, everyone in the homes get these program guides, because it's in Doylestown Township, we want everyone to get up, get out, and play. We want everyone to take opportunity to enjoy the environment, enjoy this beautiful community. And we still believe that if we build more parks and we give that opportunity, we'll have to build less juvenile facilities as a community. So we really foster play and good health and healthy activity. And I was really pleased to see all those people at Touch Truck and at the Birdwalk and at Roxy Reader and at the Burrow Dam fishing. They had the older folks out there for a fishing derby. It was just a wonderful weekend in this community for enjoying the out of doors. Speaking of out of doors, the dog park would like us to take a look at how we organize the committee. They would like to have the members who are appointed as at-large members to have voting power. The at-large members at large, and they're not necessarily from Doylestown Township, are the ones who are coming to the meetings and the ones who are most active and participating. The actual members aren't necessarily coming to the meeting. So what they're asking that the board allow or make an amendment to the resolution that created the committee to allow at-large members voting rights. And I attend those meetings, and I know the efforts. They didn't have a quorum again last night, but if the members at large were allowed to vote, they would have been able to get some stuff done.
Yes.
So I would recommend that the board consider making an amendment to the resolution that created the dog park committee to allow the members at large to have voting rights.
I mean, if there's a consensus, I'll prepare the resolution for the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I would support that.
I would take
You're very, very, very true. At the meetings, the members at large who had no voting rights, I mean, they were as avid and passionate as the others, and they had a lot to offer. I don't know why. Anyway, it would be good to include them.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. The other thing, last night we spoke, Monday. Was that last night? Monday, we had a meeting with the Open Space Board. Now, that's coming down to conclusion. We're almost done spending all our open space money, but one of the things that did come up was that the Open Space Board believes, and they'll put this in the form of a formal recommendation, that we should be doing annual open space inspections. We have this land entrusted to us. It's either conserved or it's purchased, and it's for the benefit of the entire community. We want to make sure it's being used or not used as appropriate under the open space guidelines. So at some point, we're going to be recommending that we institute an annual open space inspection of the board, like we do road inspections. So that's going to be coming. I'm not authorized at this point to make that recommendation, but I think that we should start thinking about that.
I think it's a good idea, and maybe in 30 seconds you could explain what open space is.
In 2007, the County of Bucks passed a referendum allowing that for about $94 million as a portion to all the municipalities in Bucks County, a certain amount of open space money to buy and preserve space that is not built on, that we keep open for play or for enjoyment, passive enjoyment, forever. So we have spent a lot of this money in preserving open space, and we have a little bit left, and we're going to try and get a little bit more open space preserved. But under those guidelines, you're not supposed to be, if you got a conservation easement on your property, you're not supposed to be putting a shed in the backyard, because it's open. It's supposed to be used and nobody building on it or nobody, using it for anything other than it's intended. A lot of this open space is interior. You're not going to see it from the roads, so that you want to get back there and see what's going on. You don't, unless we go down and look at it, we don't know what's happening. So that would be the point of looking at the properties that have been preserved. I can't tell you how many properties there were, but we have over a square mile of properties preserved. Some of the preservation is, we actually bought it using this open space money from the county. Some of it, people just preserved the property because they wanted to do that as good stewards for the community. They didn't want to sell their property. They wanted all of us to enjoy it forever without anybody building on it, or no more houses or no more McDonald's to that point. So that's what the open space is, and we just want to make sure that the integrity of the open space program is being maintained with these annual inspections. Just like we maintain the integrity of our roads by looking at the roads we look and see what Mr. John takes us out to look and see what next community needs to have the roadbed surfaced or resurfaced or more drainage put in a certain area. So it's the same kind of inspection that we would undertake on an annual basis. So is that...
I think you
that was
met
more
the
than
time
30
requirement.
seconds. Okay.
No, I think you made it.
So I think that's all I had from my bit of business, which is more than normal. Pebble Hill Church, new business. Waiver request by the Pebble Hill Church for a building permit. They want us to waive $200 and $50. $200 for a mechanical permit and $50 for an electrical permit. What is the pleasure of the board on that?
As I think most of the members know, we worked on getting the ordinances changed 4 years ago, where if particular organizations met the health, safety, and welfare, and I don't know if anyone's here from Pebble Hill Church and wants to speak to it, but in my opinion, this does not meet those requirements, and I don't support waiving any of the fees.
What did we do with the Advent Church on Pine Run when they made their expansion?
They paid their fees, as did the other religious institutions that have been through the land development and/or building process recently.
Other thoughts?
I agree. It should not. It doesn't meet the intent.
Consensus is none.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, next item, the Ancient Order of Hibernians request for the snowmobile rental and fees be waived.
They're here.
We have representatives here. They have made a request to utilize the showmobile. Typically, we allow organizations to utilize it in Central Park. They're requesting to take it to Manacor. We have taken it over to Font Hill before, so it's not that far out of the township. They're also asking that all of the fees associated with the use of the showmobile, including the security deposit, the rental fee, the required staff support, and if they need the stage extensions, be waived 100%. I believe they're using it for their festival to raise funds for food banks, Bucks County Food Banks. Is that
Yes.
correct? Mr. Cleary is here, and I'm sure would address the board.
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Patrick Cleary, 119 Cherry Lane. I'm here with a couple of my brothers from the Ancient Order of Hibernians. We're an organization that formed here in the Doylestown area in 1994. We've grown to approximately 165 brothers strong. Our main mission is to raise money and stock food pantries in the Central Bucks area for our division, which is Division 3. The three food banks we sponsor are the New Britain Baptist Church, Doylestown Woman's Place, and the St. John the Baptist Church up in Nockamixon. 100% of the proceeds we raise goes to the food pantries in this area. We do about $18,000 to $20,000 a year combined to the three pantries. This Irish Festival we're putting on June 14th is to raise money on a countywide basis. There's 4 divisions, and the proceeds from that money excuse me, will go to the food pantries throughout Bucks County. So what I'm asking for tonight is a waiver of the fees, because monies we do raise are going to go to the food pantries, and the more money we can save on cost, as more money gets put in the pantries.
Okay. Thoughts?
I know that I can speak for their actions and their work and their as a member of the AOH, so I can say that they do a lot of great work in the holidays and that too, the food drives, but I obviously will have to rescind if there's any kind of vote or anything tonight, but I can attest to their work, so.
Okay.
I mean, there's no denying the charitable organizations, churches. I mean, I'm not against church. I'm not. We're the stewardships of the money. We have the fiduciary responsibility to spend every penny of all the residents' money prudently. And to that extent, we have to be careful that we're not being capricious with it. And I'm not saying we are, but that's what we're charged with. And my concern is that I'm taking from the tax coffers and the taxes that all the residents pay, X amount of dollars for an organization that maybe 99% of the residents agree with, maybe not, maybe 80%, I don't know. But rather than go on that slippery slope or in that area, I recommend that we don't get into all that, and if we want to support, certainly have no problem supporting it, but I would not support it because we're going to have to pay the employees to do these jobs and these functions. Our employees obviously don't work for free, just like none of us do, so that's money coming out of our coffers. So the short answer is I'm not in favor of this either.
Okay, just to clarify, it is not a church organization, as you stated?
I know. The previous one was church.
I'm sorry?
The previous one we
Previous
just
one.
spoke that I was against was a church.
Okay.
That's why I mentioned it.
My only comment here is this keeps coming up, and there's different organizations that are asking for waivers, and some of them we're for, and some of them we're not for. But I haven't seen any rhyme or reason to kind of, what makes this less one that we would approve versus, I don't know.
We have a policy.
Right, and the policy states like the health and wealth of residents within the community, right?
Right, for waiving of fees.
Right.
And I'm okay with not making money off this event. However, I agree with Rick that the cost that we outlay should be reimbursed. So if we're charging a rental that is not a cost, just to make money off that rental, then I am not inclined to charge you for that. However, if we're paying staff to man that unit, then we have to get that reimbursed, because then the taxpayers are paying for that. And we can't speak for all the taxpayers for this, because we would end up, we would have everybody in here asking us to use our showmobile for free, for a lot of good reasons. I mean, we get asked all the time, but we have to have our costs covered for that.
I just one comment. The rental fee compensates us so that we can make the repairs on the apparatus, the showmobile, put it towards maybe the next showmobile. So it's not that it's just like when we do other things. We try to put the maintenance into the cost of an item. The cost of that showmobile we get from our rental, so we're not making money, in my estimate. I'll shut up. I'll let everybody else talk.
Well, I mean, the last one didn't we just approve a showmobile rental for and fees to be waived for? And I can't remember. It was some pumpkin festival. Wasn't there a pumpkin festival?
Back in the fall, yes.
Right. So I'm just trying to clarify what's.
The fees were waived.
They paid, some of their fees were waived, but they did pay for the hourly rates and things like that, like
Where was
the
the-
security deposit and things
In that
like that.
example, where was the showmobile used?
The showmobile at Font Hill.
On Fawn Hill.
It was a pumpkin festival, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was for the Bucks County Council on Alcohol and Drug, or whatever, Southeastern Council of Alcohol and Drug.
I just don't know if maybe, I mean, I'm not saying one way or another whether this deserves to be waived or not. I'm just saying maybe we need to be more specific, because this is actually a question that gets asked to me a lot, with people doing runs at the park and things that benefit our community, that they're not taking proceeds from, that's staying right here locally, and and why is one thing waived over another? So maybe our resolution needs to be more definitive, as opposed to just, hey, if it's health and welfare, because clearly we can say this is health and welfare of people, they're giving money to the food bank, 100% of the proceeds.
But it's also limited at $1,000. You can't waive more than $1,000.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying maybe it's worth us kind of taking a look at that resolution and so it's not always so subjective when people are coming and asking for things to be waived. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, in this particular instance, what are your thoughts?
I don't know about that. No. I mean, I think we should probably just, again, if that one was for the Opportunity Council.
Drug and alcohol, CBCARES.
Okay. Oh, it was for CBCARES. Okay. I mean, maybe we just, my opinion would be whatever we did for them, maybe I would recommend we do the same for this. So if they had to pay some sort of, if they had one thing waived but not the other, I don't.
They paid, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, they paid the deposit, and then that gets reimbursed.
Correct.
That just covers
If there's damage or anything, correct.
And then all the costs associated with the township staff.
Correct. The required staff support.
But the rental fee was...
I believe the rental fee was waived for that, as it was for the Historical Society when they did the 150th anniversary.
Right, and that was the last one,
Before
the Doylestown, the 100.
Correct. And so we waived that, but then, of course, all organizations have to provide the certificates of insurance naming us as an additional insured.
So if we did both of them the same, I mean, I would think this kind of fits into the same category.
So we're...
They have to provide us with a certificate of insurance naming us as an additional insured. They have provided the information that they have the ability to obtain that. So we would be covered if it were damaged, severely damaged.
I have no issue. I just wanted to make one comment. My name's John Butler. I'm a member of AOH. The economy really hasn't recovered as much as everybody would like to think it has at this point in time, but there's a lot of people, my neighbors, some of my neighbors included, who are out of work, who benefit from the food lottery, and there's a lot more people than you really think benefit from it. They actually do. There's a lot of people that do benefit from it. I just wanted you to take that into consideration
I
before
don't
you
think
make
there's
this.
any question about that and the worthiness of what you guys are doing. I think it just comes down to, like Rick said, the fiduciary responsibility we have to our residents to not just every time someone comes up in front of us say, sure, everything's waived, versus, setting some sort of policy that's a little more definitive, so we as a board can make that decision without it just being subjective in nature.
And I totally agree with that, and I understand your position. I just want to inject just a little bit of compassion into the decision, that's all.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ken wants to chime in. He's the only one who hasn't had a chance.
Ken, sorry.
I would like to see us try to reach a compromise where you do pay for some of it, but some of the fees maybe we could waive.
Well, I think anything that we have to put out, staff time, and believe me, we have required staff reimbursement even in Oktoberfest, so that our people are covered.
Yeah.
And any event, we have to pay for police, we have to pay for fire police, all that. We can't waive, or we have to pay that. So, what and this goes back to where I suggested, if we can waive the rental fees if that's not covering a cost, and the security deposit we can't waive, but obviously that's reimbursed. Are you going to need stage extensions? Do you know?
Yes.
Do they have to be put up?
Yeah, they have to be put up.
Yeah.
So it would be part of the hourly.
Hourly,
Right, yeah.
So
It could
can
be.
we waive these?
You could.
We'll waive the extension.
You can waive any fees for the peer use, but you're not waiving the
Hourly rate.
hourly rate that you're having to pay your employees to do this.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that would be fair.
That's where we started this.
It seems to be the consensus.
Okay with that? I mean, it's the best we can do.
Yeah. Do you guys have to vote on it, or that's it?
No, it's
There's a consensus.
You're
We
good.
agree. No, we appreciate everything. Thank you very much. It's just, we're trying to get our costs down as low as possible. You understand what our mission is, but appreciate your time, and thank you. And
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for your good work. Okay.
Get the Boy Scouts meeting.
You guys leaving?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You're welcome.
It is a school night.
All right. Go and do your homework.
No, all the bright lights in the community are leaving.
Hey.
You can watch yourself on television, 7 o'clock. Channel 22
Bye,
and
thank you.
31. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I want to see you all in Eagle Scouts.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Next item on the agenda, pen color extension.
Plan expires June 1st. You don't meet, so we'll need an extension to July 15th, which they have provided.
Motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Bucks County Open Space Program Resolution.
We have a revised resolution on the table for the board, and I did speak to the county. They're okay with the tweaks that we've made, but this is for the property that the board approved the agreement previously. We'll be going to the county with this resolution and application on May 28th, and would like the board to approve the resolution indicating that we want to utilize the municipal open space monies that we have available, the 310-204, for the purchase of tax parcel 974201.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I'm calling the question on, any questions?
No.
This is for the 10-acre from, okay. Resolution number 1760, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That's 5 and 0. Bids for the guardrail memo from Mr. John. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
I make a motion we support Dick John's recommendation for the winning bid on the guardrails.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Long Fence
69.
Company, $69,990.
Sorry, Long Fence Company, almost $70,000. And then the trail construction bid.
Yes. Also, Mr. Kelso's here if anyone has any questions. As the board knows, or as Mr. Colello has put it, this is the year of the trail, and we had bids out for trail work for the Neshaminy Greenway, Phase 2 Destination Peace Valley, and Century Trail. We received 6 bids, and the low bid came from Barris Construction on all 3 trails. The Neshaminy Trail for $323,144, Peace Valley for $179,244, and the Sensory Trail for $49,944. Chris Stanford from Baker Engineers has looked into their work ability to complete the trails and the work that they have done previously in other municipalities, and recommends Barris Construction, and awarding all 3 bids to them, and they are within our budget limits on and grants that we've received on all 3 projects. And you have Dick's memo.
I make a motion we accept the Dick's recommendation on the trail builders.
I'll second.
Do you need to say anything?
I had,
I think, it's extraordinary that we have 3 trails.
Sorry, you got to do the microphone. Yeah, please. And identify yourself, because nobody knows who you are.
Is our unsung
Tom
hero?
Kelso with the Bike and Hike Committee. And I think you're all aware of the trails, and we started this process years ago. Last year at this time, we were anticipating the township, meaning Dick and his crew, to do a lot of the work and not going out to bid for all the trails. Winter changed that. We thought it was the best way to do it, and we have grants for all 3 of the trails that meet a high percentage of the expenses. So the decision was made a few months ago to move forward with bids. The bids are, I think, it was a competitive bid. The references checked out, and there are 3 great trails we're going to have. They're all 3 unique in their own way. So it's going to add probably over 2 miles worth of trails to the township system.
Excellent.
So it's a great project where everybody's anxious to see it get done this year.
Yeah, really exciting.
just a question for Tom. When I looked at the bids, I was a little surprised, I guess, that the difference in the bids, especially for the Neshaminy one, where 3 of them did not bid at all, and then the other one, it was a wide gap. So what is it about the Neshaminy one that presented some concern, or maybe the guy was more conservative than the guy we're giving it to, but give me your interpretation of that.
Well, there are a number of us in the room, I think including you, that have walked that trail. You didn't walk it? Okay. If you walked it in the springtime, you'd know why. It's a difficult trail to construct. It's got limited access to it on both ends. Right now, it's extremely wet. I think it scared away 3 of the bidders.
Makes sense.
It's tough. But I think, you go back in another month and it'll look great. So I think we had some intrepidation by 3 of the bidders. I checked one of the references on Barwis myself, just because I knew one of his people that he listed, and he's dealt with trails like this before. So we've got an experienced contractor. And I think you saw that in the first two bidders, S&H S&H Landscaping. They built the township park. They know the area. They're a local contractor. The third, Numeris, they're not a trail builder. We know them for building water facilities, and they've done bridges, I think, in the township. So it's a tough one. Of all the three, it's the one that presents the most problems during construction.
Is there any concern on the committee's part that what we're going to accept as a $300,000 bid for that one trail may come through with a lot of change orders and end up being $800,000 like the other guy? I mean, what's going to protect us that it doesn't grow to some huge number?
That's why I checked the reference. I personally have a concern about that with that trail. And it's something we've talked about during the bidding process. We had a mandatory pre-bid visit to the site. So all the bidders had to go out and walk that trail. We think we've done everything we can to minimize that. That's not saying we can't have some issues. But I think we've got a good contractor. It looks like we've had them go out and look at the site, talk about the issues. I think the township's still doing part of it. Township's providing materials. For example, we're doing the bridge, which is a difficult part of it. So we've done everything we think we can to minimize that. Okay. But I'll still lose some sleep over it.
Yeah. Oh, no, don't do that. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work. Okay, is there a motion? Yeah, we have a motion. Motion and second. Any other questions? Did you have a question?
This question was answered.
Was your question?
He answered me. You said it was 2 miles.
2 miles. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, bills list from April 22nd and May 6th. Is there a motion to approve both?
Move to approve.
For both of them?
Second. Yes, both.
Okay, second for both of them?
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
And the treasurer's report for May 6th? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next meeting of this board is Tuesday, June 3rd. We're going to be closed on May 20th for Election Day and May 26th for Memorial Day. Home Run Derby. You got to register in advance. It's May 15th, 5 o'clock to dusk at Turk Baseball Fields. And our golf outing is June 2nd, Doylestown Country Club, 9 o'clock a.m. shotgun start. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, wait.
Public comment was at 7 o'clock, Mr. Pingler.
I'm getting started.
I was home, and I was watching this on television.
Oh, how do we look?
You all look great. The
Thank
kids looked great. Everybody was great. I was hoping I was going to be able to talk while the kids were still here. I listened to Mr. Colella for 2 meetings in a row about the Grasso track, and we must not have been in the same place, okay? I hear, Rick talk about, well, we got a 10,000 square foot building, but as he was trying to explain to the kids, that building, there's 2 other 20,000 square foot buildings on that piece of property.
All he talked about was the one.
But anyway, yeah, I understand that.
We're trying to make a point.
My point is, and he brought up impervious surface, okay? There wasn't one person at that board, not one of the members that sat on that board, that brought up about having 60% impervious surface instead of 40 that you're supposed to have.
Well, I think that's being challenged, isn't it? I mean,
it's not being challenged by anybody.
Isn't that running through the Planning Commission?
It's not being challenged by anybody.
It's not the purview of the Planning Commission, Jim. You know it's a zoning hearing issue.
I realize that.
Okay, well, that's
We did discuss it at the Planning Commission. We talked about the fact that it is a zoning hearing issue, and they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And
I didn't.
it's clear to everybody it wasn't a new issue
That came up.
I didn't hear that anybody's acquiescing to that.
But basically, that night, we had one person came in for a 4-lot subdivision, took an hour and just about 10 minutes for him. In an hour and 20 minutes, basically, okay, we just about passed a shopping center. there were so many, and you're going to say no, but you did, Tom.
Well, I think what you missed is, it's not the first time we've seen this. That other subdivision came in, that was really the first time we've seen that. And we're talking about a sketch plan. The road getting from a sketch plan to final plan approval is a long road.
We're talking the Grasso track.
Yes,
Grasso.
it's a sketch plan at this point in time.
I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
And I think we're being patient about it. I think everybody's being patient at this point. We're glad they came back a second time with the sketch plan. They didn't have to do that. They came back with what I think were significant changes to it. So I think it's the process, and we're all going through it the best we can. And I think it's unfair to criticize the Planning Commission for that.
I don't one bit, Tom. I believe that you're letting a person go ahead and say, and I realize it goes to the zoning hearing board. I realize that. And I can't believe that somebody doesn't say, well, maybe you should look about, making your plan a little bit smaller or whatever at that point, rather than then letting them go along and keep doing more and more, sketch plans and more building designs and whatever. And I truly don't believe that with the impervious surface that you can just keep digging bigger holes in the ground and putting more water in. Mr. Lars talks about the flooding in his neighborhood. We have flooding in our neighborhood. Doesn't seem to be any concern.
Well, we don't have anything to look at. So there's nothing here for me to comment on, or nothing of my fellow board members can comment on. We're going to run through the Planning Commission. It's going to run through that process. And the Planning Commission knows what they're doing. We have a zoning hearing board for issues that are beyond our purview. And then when we finally have to look at something, we're going to look at it. And I think we have been very active in making sure that, as I indicated to the Boy Scouts here, that our zoning is upheld. And I don't see any of that changing.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear from you, Barb. That's what I want to hear.
Not from where I'm
The
sitting.
amount of trees that are be taken down and all the things that they need, they're taking down 80% of the trees that they can't take down.
I think we all...
Or without replacement trees, whatever. It's just...
Yeah, there's been a long history here, and
believe me,
that's not lost on...
I know all about the history.
That's not lost on those of us who know the history, and I know that we are smart people new to this board that are going to be on top of it too, and even Mr. You're not a smart person, but no. Ken was not a member of the board, but he's certainly aware of all the issues down there.
And who is he?
Ken Snyder, that guy, the smart one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know who you mean.
He's very much
Right.
versed in the history, so we're not.
But I just couldn't believe when I heard Rick, at the last meeting go, Mr. Murphy answered everybody's question. There were 8,000 questions that were asked there that were never answered.
Unfair to criticize the gentleman now. If you have a problem with what he's saying when he's saying it, say it then. But, we weren't there, and I stand up. This man knows more about planning and zoning than most people I know, or anybody here, I think. So, unfair to criticize him in this position, I think, and it's not. I would ask that he should be shown a little more respect in that regard. Mr. Bingler.
We've had many a discussions about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Seeing and hearing none other, we are dismissed. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Document.